Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to your solar eclipse in Aries astrology predictions together with Venus and Mercury going retrograde into the sign of Pisces. If you haven't checked my video regarding the eclipse we just had in the sign of Virgo, please make sure to do so, as even though that eclipse happened just a few days ago, the impact of it could be felt up to 6 months, so you might still have some effects in your lives associated with that eclipse as well. I have already made a couple of videos regarding the month of March. I think it's such an important month, maybe the most important one of 2025. I think we're going to have so many changes, and now with this eclipse in the sign of Aries, new beginnings and new fated events that are going to be, life-shifting. So before you start with your own zodiac sign, keep in mind that I'm a Western astrologer. I follow tropical zodiac. This is a whole sign system, so Placidus won't apply. Make sure you follow the whole sign system, and you can start listening to your rising sign if you're lucky to know your time of birth, and then the sun sign, and then the moon sign as well. I wish you the best of luck during this time. Please let us all know in the comments below how things are going into your lives. There are so many people that want to learn from you and kind of want to share maybe the burden of all these celestial events that are happening with you as well. If you want to show some support for my work, you can always like, subscribe, share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, everyone. Now let's start with the 12 zodiac signs. Hello dear Aries suns, moons and risings. Welcome to your astrology predictions for the eclipse that we're going to be having in your first house, and also to the predictions regarding Venus and Mercury both moving retrograde into the sign of Pisces. A lot of things are happening in the sky. There's going to be conjunctions, eclipses, so a lot to unfold. I do want to remind you to please check the video that talks about the eclipse in the sign of Virgo, because eclipses do trigger important things in our charts, and the effects of the eclipses are usually up to 6 months. So that video, even though the eclipse has already happened, it can still apply to your life. So please make sure to check that video as well. Now let's start with Venus going retrograde into the sign of Pisces. This is happening exactly on March 27, and as soon as Venus re-enters the sign of Pisces, we know Venus has already been here. It went into your first house, into your sign, it stationed retrograde, and now it's re-entering Pisces. But as soon as it does so, it's going to be in a conjunction to Neptune and the North Node in your 12th house. Saturn is close by over there, so you might still feel the heaviness of Saturn in the 12th house. However, Venus here can bring some major endings for some of your Aries. I do want to mention that because the 12th house is the last house of your zodiacal wheel, and so it can bring some major endings, especially related to your sources of income and or your relationships with other people. And that is because Venus rules your 2nd house and also your 7th house. So for some of you, you might have some fated endings regarding a relationship, regarding a marriage, if you are in one, if you have a long-term partner. There might be some situations that first need to be reevaluated. There might be conversations related to finances. Like I said, Venus is your 2nd house ruler. There might be opportunities to reassess all situations. Maybe hidden things could come to light. Venus here retrograde could be exposing these things, and especially with that conjunction to the North Node, it could intensify things even more. We do have the presence of Neptune, like I said, and when Venus is in a conjunction to Neptune, sometimes can bring illusions, deception, but we do have Saturn as well over there. So I feel like we might be shifting from one thing to the other. Sometimes we're going to be more realistic, and sometimes we're going to be more optimistic or a little delulu. So keep that in mind to make smart and wise financial decisions around this time, especially if it is involving some sort of contract, some sort of relationship, some sort of marriage. Make sure to double check and triple check everything. And especially because just 2 days after, Mercury is also going to be in this position in the sky. And it's going to be in the conjunction to Neptune. So I'm going to be talking about it like here in a minute. But like I said, I feel like a lot of years are going to be having major endings. And with major endings though, there's also new beginnings, and especially because you're going to have the solar eclipse in your first house, in your sign. But I also want to say that with Venus here in the 12th house, you might have some fated interactions with individuals that you have soul contracts with, people that are from different backgrounds, people that are from other cultures, other traditions, people that are from faraway lands, or some of you might have some fated connection with individuals that you used to know before, that come back to you in this lifetime, and they have to complete some sort of soul contract with you, or they have to give you some sort of spiritual message that maybe doesn't make sense at the moment, but it will make more sense when Venus goes direct in this area of the sky as well. Now, like I said, I do think for a lot of your Aries, there's going to be some sort of ending, maybe related to mental health issues, especially with Venus being the ruler of your second house, of your own self-confidence and self-worth. So a lot of you maybe are going to end those self-sabotaging ways or patterns that maybe have held you back. Some of you are going to end generational karma during this retrograde season, and it may not be easy. You might be able to dive into your psychic mind, like your inner psychology, your own spiritual strength, like you might go within, but I feel like a lot of you are going to bring into an ending a lot of karmic weight and baggage that you were brought in this lifetime with. And like I said, with certain endings, we also have beginnings, and that's where the solar eclipse in your first house comes. Definitely some important new beginnings for a lot of you Aries, especially the ones that are at the early degree, because this eclipse is happening at 8 degrees. However, everybody will feel this, and the ruler of this eclipse is Mars. Mars is in the sign of Cancer in your 4th house. So for a lot of you, you might have some sort of new beginning, especially related to your home environment. Like there are all these endings that I talked about, or these karmic situations, these fated situations, or introspection that you may be going with Venus here in the 12th house, and Mercury that is also going to be in the 12th house at the day of the eclipse. But as you make these endings, I feel like they might be changing, or they might bring changes related to your real estate, related to where you're living, related to your home environment. Some of you may decide to move. I'm not saying in the day of the eclipse. Like I said, eclipses or the effects of the eclipses could be lasting up to 6 months. But eventually, I feel like a lot of you will make decisions about maybe relocating, going somewhere else. And if not that you might have this situation that makes you protect your home environment, protect your house, protect your family, protect your loved ones as well. That's what Mars in the sign of Cancer does. Now, for others of you, like I said, you may decide to just start fresh, to have a new life for yourselves. And what I really, really love is that this is a new moon eclipse. It is in conjunction to the North Node. I mean, not in conjunction, because the North Node is in Pisces, but it is with a North Node. That's what I wanted to say. And so, as you have these new beginnings, you're going to have the drive to move forward, because you want to protect what is the most important for you. You want to protect even your emotional world. If you don't have situations that make you protect your family, you're gonna have situations that will make you protect your own self, your emotional world, your own world. And I want to say that the effects of these eclipses are going to be long lasting, because Mars is going to be in a beautiful trine to Saturn, which is in the sign of Pisces, and also in a sextile to Uranus in the sign of Taurus. But that trine to Saturn is just so beautiful, because Saturn is the planet of time. And so a lot of you Aries are going to have this new beginning, fresh new beginning with the eclipse in your first house, but with long lasting effects. And you're going to have the drive and stamina to push forward no matter what could be happening, no matter what could be ending, no matter what needs to be revised. You're also going to have the sharpness that Uranus brings to you, the innovative ideas that Uranus brings to you to help you with this sort of new beginning as well. On the day of the eclipse, we have that little triangle that's created with Mars and Uranus and Saturn, and that's like angelic protection sort of triangle. So I really love this. I do want to say that it is intense energy. I don't want to sugarcoat it, because this is an eclipse. However, like I said, the effects are more on the positive side, with the support that the ruler of this eclipse is receiving and giving as well. I think that is it for you, Aries. Please let me know in the comments how things are going for you, how things are going in your lives. You know, I always read them. And then if you want to show some support for my work, you can like, subscribe, share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, Aries, and I'll see you on the next video. Hello, dear Taurus, suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your solar eclipse in Aries astrology predictions, together with Venus and Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Pisces. All of this is happening around at the same time, so that's why I'm putting these on the same video. If you have not checked my video regarding the eclipse we had in the sign of Virgo, please make sure to do so, because the effects of eclipses could be lasting up to 6 months. And even though this eclipse has already passed, you might still feel the effects of it in your life. So please make sure to check that as well. Now let's focus on Venus, which is re-entering the sign of Pisces on March 27. Venus already was here. We already know that. It went into the sign of Aries. It stationed retrograde over there. And then it moved backwards, quote unquote, in the sky. And now it's re-entering the sign of Pisces. And this is so important for you, Taurians, because you are one of the signs that is ruled by Venus. So whatever Venus does, it affects you. And I feel like for a lot of you, you might really be focused on your long-term dreams and goals for the future. You might be reevaluating, rethinking situations, especially regarding your direction in life, but also your career, your job, and what you do for a living. A lot of you are reevaluating that, or at least you might have opportunities, you might have situations that are going to give you a better understanding, a clearer understanding of where you should be going in your life, where you should be in the next 6 months, in 1 year, in 2 years. There might be situations that need to be revisited, that need to be rethought about, with Venus in retrograde motion and Mercury that's also going to be in this spot just 2 days after. But they are going to help you realign your entire life, your entire direction. And as soon as Venus re-enters the sign of Pisces, it's going to be in a conjunction to Neptune and the North Node in the 11th house. So a lot of you are going to have this ideal that you want to reach when it comes to your long-term dreams and goals for the future. And even though there's a conjunction to Neptune, which means that sometimes we become a little more disillusioned or illusioned, like we become more delulu, that's what I want to say. We still have this presence of Saturn in this house, and Saturn is just a few degrees away. So I feel like a lot of you might be making a decision regarding where you want to be going, like I said, but you're going to be switching from being realistic to being a more idealistic. You might switch from one to the other, And as Venus is in retrograde motion, you are going to recalculate a lot of things regarding your life, regarding your job, your career, what you do for a living, and also your entire life direction. I feel like I repeated myself, but I want to say that there's going to be a lot of focus on the future. Now, for others of you, the 11th house also rules your friendship circles. So you might run into somebody that you used to know before. I myself am a Taurus rising, and even though Venus has not entered the sign of Pisces yet, today, and I'm recording this on Sunday the 23rd, so a few days before this is gonna happen, I met a friend that I had not seen in like 6 years maybe. I ran into her in a very coincidental way. But I feel like for a lot of you, you might also run into individuals that you used to know from before, friends, acquaintances, people that you used to meet on a daily basis, with Venus also being the 6th house ruler. You might also have situations that you need to go back to maybe try to heal some sort of friendship, to try to reconcile with someone. Some of you might decide to heal a friendship, but eventually decide to end it and kind of move on as well, because this is with the North Node. Saturn as well is over there as well. So there is some sort of karmic closure that could be happening for some of you Taurians when it comes to your social circles. Now, for others of you, the 11th house is also the house of financial rewards. So you might be putting a lot of focus on your personal finances, your risky investments, the financial rewards that you receive through your job, through your work, through the industry that you are in. You might need to reassess all these things. There could be situations that make you reevaluate, rethink, recalculate a lot of financial situations that that you have in your lives. And some of you are going to decide to go full on with this financial decisions, and then others of you might decide to leave behind maybe something that is not working for you anymore, especially with the eclipse that we had in the sign of Virgo in the 5th house for you. And so like I said, a lot of reevaluation also when it comes to your finances. That's something that's very important for you as well. Venus in itself is a planet of finances, and your Taurus, you care about money. Now, as you do all these reevaluations, 11th house, just 2 days after, we're gonna have the solar eclipse in the sign of Aries in your 12th house. And I feel like a lot of you are going to decide maybe to change your industry, to change your job. Even though this is in the 12th house, it's still aspecting your 6th house of your day-to-day job, what you do for a living, what you work, that pays your bills, basically. So a lot of you are going to decide to have a new beginning when it comes to that. Others of you are going to decide to take on a spiritual path, or to use spirituality to realign yourselves when it comes to your entire life direction as well. For you, the ruler of the eclipse, Mars, is in the 3rd house, and the 3rd house is the house of your thinking process. So with the eclipse in the 12th house, I feel like a lot of you are going to be removing a lot of negative thinking, a lot of self-sabotaging patterns. Maybe some of you are going to be diving deep into your karmic wounds, or the karma that came with you in this lifetime, maybe generational karma as well. You might decide to reflect on that and kind of leave behind whatever is not working for you. And I want to say that I feel like the effects of this eclipse could really be long lasting, because Mars is making this beautiful aspect to Saturn, which is, like I said, in your 11th house for you, in the house of your long-term dreams and goals for the future. So whatever new beginning that you're going to be making in your 12th house, I think is going to be long lasting. You're going to have that mental stamina, the desire to push forward so that you can protect your own mental health, so that you can protect maybe your immediate circles of friends, of neighbors, of siblings, of your immediate environment in general, with Mars in the 3rd house. And like I said, the effects I feel like are going to be long lasting because of this beautiful trine that the ruler of the eclipse is making to Saturn. At the same time, Mars is making a sextile to Uranus, which for you is in the first house. It's in your own sign. And that's why, Taurians, I feel like you're going to have that mental sharpness to find innovative and creative ideas to have that sort of new beginning in your 12th house. Some of you might even have opportunities to travel more, to go more on vacations for the next 6 months, maybe to retreat as well. You might have more vivid dreams as well, especially I feel like especially, when on the time of the eclipse and in the beginning of April, because Venus, your rule, is going to be conjunction to Neptune, the planet of dreams, and then we have the eclipse in the 12th house. I feel like your dreams are going to tell you some messages for a lot of you, actually. But some of you might also decide to go back to some sort of spiritual path or go back to meditation, to do things to relax your nervous system with Mars in the 3rd house. And then some of you might reconnect even with cousins, people that you haven't spoken to in a while as well with this eclipse here. I don't want to say that some of you might have hidden enemies exposed as well with this eclipse, but in a way that you have some sort of new beginning with them. Meaning that for some of you, you might have enemies removed from your lives or new enemies showing up, unfortunately. However, with the aspects that Mars is making, I feel like the effects of the eclipse could be more on the positive side. I don't want to say that eclipses are still very intense in nature. I don't want to sugarcoat it. However, the effects of it, I feel like, are more on the positive side. And so I hope that hidden enemies are removed from your lives, Taurians. I have my natal Venus in the 12th house, and I know how it is to have hidden enemies. And so I hope this eclipse just completely removes them for you. I feel like I've covered most of the things. You might not feel as much the eclipse because it's in the 12th house, but you're going to feel Venus in the 11th house. So as you decide to make these major decisions about your entire life direction and your long-term dreams and goals for the future, please remember to recalculate, to be very careful with all the details, to double check and triple check things, because Mercury is also going retrograde in the sign of Pisces on March 29 when we're going to have the eclipse. And Mercury is going to be, in the same area of the sky in conjunction to Neptune. So please double check and triple check things, and stay realistic. Use that Saturn that is nearby in the sky to be very realistic about where you want to be, who you want to be with, what career you want to have, and also what kind of financial decisions you want to be making. Okay, Taurus, I wish you the best of luck. Please let me know in the comments below how things are going for you. I always read them. And then if you want to show some support, you can like, subscribe, share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Hello, dear Gemini suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your solar eclipse in the sign of Aries astrology predictions. I'm also going to be talking about Venus moving retrograde into the sign of Pisces and Mercury joining Venus as well. If you haven't checked out my video regarding the eclipse in the sign of Virgo, please make sure to do so, as the effects of eclipses can last up to 6 months. Therefore, even though this eclipse has already happened, it might still affect your lives. Okay, so Venus is going to re-enter the sign of Pisces in your 10th house, and Venus has already been here. Venus also went to the sign of Aries and then is stationed retrograde, and now it's moving back into the sign of Pisces. But as it does so, it's going to be in a conjunction to Neptune and also the North Node in your 10th house. And I feel like for a lot of you Geminis, you may have some sort of introspection and reflection that you may be doing regarding your public status, what you're known into the world, how other people know you as well. For others of you, you might really reflect on what you want to be doing in this life. And you're also going to have that eclipse in your 11th house, and that's going to wake up your long-term dreams and goals for the future. But I feel like you're going to have some sort of introspection with Venus and also Mercury joining Venus just 2 days after in the same position in the sky. I feel like for a lot of you, you may leave behind some sort of status that you were known to the world. You might have some sort of like I said, reflection over it, going back to certain contracts, going back into certain details associated with your industry, associated with your public status and what you're known to the world. And as you do so, you may decide to detach and leave behind something that is not serving you anymore. And I'm talking about leaving behind things because Venus is in conjunction to Neptune, and Neptune is sometimes a planet of letting go. This is also happening in the sign of Pisces. Venus is exalted in Pisces, Neptune rules Pisces. So this is a very strong conjunction in the sky. However, Saturn is also there a few degrees away from this important conjunction. And Saturn talks about karmic situations with the North Node as well over there. I feel like a lot of you, like I said, are leaving behind something that is not serving you anymore, career-wise or related to your status. If you're not working, if you don't have a job, you might be changing your status and what you're known into the world. The 10th house is also the house of your legacy, of what you leave behind. So again, you might have some sort of thinking and rethinking about what kind of footprints you're leaving in this world. If you are in the right path when it comes to your goals in this lifetime and what you want other people to see you for. This also triggers the 4th house. So maybe for some of you Geminis, you might be recalculating and rethinking about relocation, about some sort of real estate topic as well. You might think about moving into a place that you used to live in before, and you might really decide to make some changes associated with that, or at least you're going to really recalculate things and rethink about these things as well. Venus rules your 12th house and also your 5th house. So some of you may decide to, or not you may decide, but there could be something happening in the life of one of your children, if you have children, that makes you kind of rethink about the direction of your own personal life because of some situation that could be happening with one of your children. Something major could be happening with them that makes you think and rethink if you are in the right career or if you are in the right industry, if you can take care of your children at the same time. And if your children are grown, then you might be thinking about if you are in the right place, like physically, to be able to assist your children or to be there for them. And then for others of you, you might have, again, some sort of reflection when it comes to your career due to some risk investment as well, if you are into that. Some of you Geminis might also be thinking about changing your status because you want to take a romantic relationship to the next level as well, with Venus being the 5th house ruler of romance. You might be thinking and rethinking and maybe deciding to go from dating to maybe in a relationship, or from a relationship to engaged or to married. And most of you might make these decisions when Venus is direct in the same area of the sky after a few weeks. You're definitely one of the most impacted signs from this retrograde because this is happening in an angular house for you. So you might have to have certain conversations maybe with a partner as well. I mentioned your home environment too, but There might also be some sort of introspection regarding your own life direction, your personality and your character as well, and how you want to be perceived by other people as well. Now, 2 days later, like I said, Mercury is going to be in the same area of the sky, and Mercury is your chart ruler. It also rules your 4th house of home, environment, and real estate. That's why I said a lot of you are going to be thinking about your entire life direction. And also, if you are in the right place, if you have the right house, a right apartment, if you're living with people that make you feel good, that let you kind of be happy or be able to express yourself freely. And on the day that Mercury re-enters the sign of Pisces, we're gonna have that solar eclipse in the sign of Aries that I mentioned a few minutes ago. And this is going to be in your 11th house. So for some of you in the next 6 months, like I said, you might be relocating, and therefore you're gonna have a new circle of friends with the eclipse happening in the 11th house. For others of you, you might meet some new people that you feel like you can be more yourselves around, you can communicate freely with, and you might also have the same values with and the same kind of belief system as well. The ruler of the eclipse, Mars, is going to be in your 2nd house around this time, and that's the house of your personal values. That's why I feel like if you're gonna have any changes in your group of friends, then this eclipse might bring individuals that you have some sort of soul contract with, but that you have the same values together, and you basically agree on a lot of things. You might also have the same long-term dreams and goals for the future with these people. For some of you Geminis, you might be focused also in your own financial situation and your financial goals, because the 11th house is also the house of financial rewards. And with Mars in your 2nd house of your personal income, I feel like a lot of you might put a lot of emphasis on your career, on your job, on your money-making abilities. But I feel like with whatever you decide to do in your 11th house matter with this eclipse, it's going to be a long-lasting and more on the positive side, because the ruler of the eclipse is Mars, is making a positive aspect to Saturn, which is also sitting in your 10th house of your career. And with this reflection and introspection and recalculation, reevaluation of your career and public status, I feel like you're going to make some sort of decision that can be rewarding for you in the long run, with the eclipse on the 11th house. Mars is also making a positive aspect to Uranus, which for you is in your 12th house, and you might have these beautiful downloads that can give you those ideas, genius ideas on finding solutions about making money, finding solutions about where you decide to go in your life, like your long-term dreams and goals that you have for the future. You might have these innovative ideas and intelligent ideas with the connection to Uranus here as well. We have this triangle between Mars, Uranus, and Saturn, which is like angelic protection for this eclipse. Now, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Eclipses are intense in nature, I'm not gonna lie. However, I feel like the effects of it might be more on the positive side for this one. This is what I have for you, Geminis, for this video. I wish you the best of luck. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your lives. You know I always read them. And then if you want to show some support for my work, you can like, subscribe, share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Hello, dear Cancer, Suns, Moons, and Risings. Welcome to your eclipse in the sign of Aries astrology predictions, together with Venus and Mercury going retrograde into the sign of Pisces. I've made a video about the eclipse we had in the sign of Virgo, so please make sure to listen to that one as well, as the effects of eclipses can be felt up to 6 months after the eclipse happens. So even though it has already passed, it might still be affecting your life. So for this video, we're gonna have Venus re-entering the sign of Pisces exactly on March 27. And as it does so, it's going to be in a conjunction to Neptune and the North Node in your ninth house. So for some of you Cancers, Venus here is going to bring some reevaluation and some sort of going back into doing research work and reading about topics related to your own perspective of life, to your own knowledge about your surroundings, your point of view, your perspectives in general. But because Venus also rules your fourth house, some of you Cancers might have to do some sort of research regarding home, regarding real estate, maybe relocating for some of you. You might be looking up places you used to live in before, maybe cities and countries you used to live in before, and maybe thinking about moving back over there or not, you know. And Mercury is going to be joining Venus just 2 days later during the eclipse in the same position in the sky. And Mercury is the planet of thinking, and for you it rules the third house of thinking as well. So you might be doing a lot of thinking and rethinking about fourth house matters, about your home environment, your real estate as well. Now, because the ninth house also rules legal matters, some of you Cancers might have to deal with legal matters regarding your real estate, your home, maybe your rent, mortgage, things like that. The ninth house is also the house of international travels. Some of you might have the opportunity to travel to a place you used to go to before. You've been there before. And this can be very nurturing and liberating and healing in nature with a conjunction to Neptune. Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. So this conjunction is very powerful. These two planets are making a very strong conjunction here in the sign of Pisces. And then we have the North Node over there that just intensifies everything even more. So if you decide to travel somewhere internationally, it's going to be very healing. However, let's not forget that Saturn is also in your ninth house. You might still feel that heaviness that Saturn brings here. And so sometimes you might be switching between being realistic and feeling a bit with more responsibilities, and then you switch to feeling more lighthearted, more optimistic about life in general. Some of you might be ending a legal matter during this time as well, especially when Venus goes direct in the same area of the sky, but we're going to be talking about that when the time comes. Venus here is, like I said, is going to bring some major endings as well, because it is in this conjunction to the North Node in the sign of Pisces, and with a conjunction with Neptune, you might be letting go of some legal matters as well. If you are dealing with citizenship topics or residency cards, then you might need to submit some documents or look and relook at these topics as well during this retrograde season. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we're gonna have an eclipse in the sign of Aries, and for you it's in the 10th house. So you're one of the most affected signs with this eclipse, and it's going to be at 8 degrees. It's going to probably bring a whole new direction when it comes to how you're known into the world, your status, what people know you for. Some of you Cancers maybe might be relocating, like I mentioned. So now if people knew you to live in a certain state or a certain country, then you're going to be announcing that I'm moving into somewhere else. And because the eclipse is in the most visible house of your chart, you're going to be announcing whatever is happening in your life, or other people in one way or another might be seeing what is happening for you. For others of you, you might make some sort of change when it comes to your relationships, and therefore you're going to have a new breakthrough when it comes to your public status and also how you're known into the world. Some of you Cancers might even start a new job. You might decide to change your industry in the next 6 months with the eclipse here. And you may decide to take on a new one, or at least to take on new responsibilities if you don't change your industry. There is some sort of change in your career sector. Now, the ruler of the eclipse, Mars, is in your sign. And as you make these changes, when it comes to your public status, it of course is going to affect your own persona, your own character, and your own personality as well. These changes are going to shift the way, they're going to shift your entire life direction, I feel like, with Mars in the first house. It's going to change the way how you view your life, how you view your world, maybe your immediate environment as well. And I feel like whatever you decide to do with your career, it's also going to be long lasting as well, because Mars is making a positive aspect to Saturn in your 9th house during this eclipse, which means that, like I said, whatever you decide to do, it may be long lasting. You might have the drive and stamina to push forward no matter what difficulties come your way. Saturn in the 9th house might bring those karmic, maybe legal matters, maybe situations with citizenship and residency or things like that. But in the long run, you're going to be more on the safe side, because this is a positive aspect that Mars and Saturn are doing in the sky, and they're giving you the drive and stamina that you need to push forward. Now, for some of you Cancers, there might be a situation happening at work, in your industry, in your career, that will have you protect your own self, your own name, your own identity, your own personality. It could also be tied to some sort of legal matter, like I mentioned, but you might need to protect something. And as you're doing so, you're keeping your eyes also in your long-term goals that you have as well, because Mars is also making a positive aspect to Uranus in the sky in your 11th house. So you might receive maybe some help from your friends, from acquaintances, people that know you, maybe professionals as well, with whatever situation could be happening regarding your status, regarding your career, your public reputation. Even though eclipses are very potent, they're very unpredictable and chaotic, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I feel like in the long run, things are gonna make sense. And even though, as with all other eclipses, things might not happen in the day of the eclipse, these things might be unfolding in the next 6 months. Now, on the day of the eclipse, like I said, Mercury is also going retrograde into the sign of Pisces. You're gonna be focusing on 9th house matters that I mentioned in the beginning. So a lot of recalculating and rethinking and doing research work and being smart, and then making some choices or having some events, fated events, that are going to shift your status, your home environment, real estate, maybe your relationships, your long-term relationships with others, and also your own individuality. Big changes for you, Cancers. Wow, I'm so excited for you. This is what I have for you for this video. If you want to show some support, as always, you can like, subscribe, share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, Cancers. Let me know in the comments how things are going for you, and I will see you on the next video. Hello, dear Leo suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your solar eclipse in Aries astrology predictions for the 12 zodiac signs. Together with Venus re-entering the sign of Pisces in retrograde and Mercury as well. I've made another video about the eclipse we had in the sign of Virgo, so please make sure to check that out as well, as the effects of eclipses could be lasting up to 6 months. So even though this eclipse has already happened, it's probably still affecting or going to affect your lives. Now for this video, I am going to start with Venus, which is the first planet to give us the important event of re-entering the sign of Pisces on March 27. And as it does so, it's going to be in a conjunction to Neptune and the North Node. For you, it's happening in your 8th house. So a lot of you Leos might have some important closure happening in your own self-sabotaging patterns, in your own fears. For some of you, there might be some sort of situation that is triggering those fears, but as Venus moves retrograde here, it's making you kind of refamiliarize yourselves with these fears that you have, and then as it goes direct and retouches the same area of the sky, eventually you're going to leave this behind, because Venus is in a conjunction to Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, and is also the planet of letting go. The North Node is also there, intensifying things even more, giving you fated events, fated situations that are maybe outside of your control, so that you can deal with this inner demons and fears and self-sabotaging patterns, and like I said, eventually decide to leave them behind and let them go, especially because we're also going to have, with the eclipses that we have in the Virgo Pisces axis for the next 18 or less than that now, months. So a lot of you are going to have important closures associated with your own self-sabotaging patterns, karmas, with your own lust, with things that you kind of do to yourself that you shouldn't, or that they hold you back as well. Mercury is also going to join Venus just 2 days after, in the day of the eclipse, and it's going to make you think even more about these things. Now, first, Venus rules your 10th house, and it also rules your 3rd house. So there could be something happening maybe with your public status that could be triggering some sort of fear, or it could be triggering some sort of transformation that can only be happening after reevaluating some certain details and rethink things about your own career, public status, and how you're known to the world. You might decide to have some major changes in your own individuality, in your own psychological mind, that is going, like I said, to be very healing. And I feel like the energy is a little heavy because you also have Saturn here, and the 8th house is not an easy house. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's necessary to give you that sort of mental transformation that you need, so that you have some sort of new beginning when it comes to your own perspectives of life, your own POV, your own knowledge, belief systems as well. So there's a need to do some sort of introspection here. Think about what you need to be healing in your subconscious mind, in your own psychological mind, so that you can kind of move forward in your lives. The 8th house is also the house of your shared resources and finances that you have with someone else. Maybe you're going to have some communication associated with that. This communication can be with a romantic partner or with a family member. Venus rules the 3rd house of communication, and like I said earlier, Mercury is also the planet of thinking. Is going to be on the same point of the sky just 2 days after. So a lot of conversations, discussions related to shared resources and finances. Mercury also rules your 2nd house for you of your own personal income, and also the 11th house of your financial goals, financial rewards as well. So a lot of you Leos are focusing on finances here. Like I said, you might have situations and discussions you need to make with whoever you share your resources with. Some of you might need to pay something unexpectedly. Others of you might gain some sort of clarity related to maybe some hidden shared resources as well with Neptune there. And then you might really reevaluate the shared resources that you have, so that you can kind of realign your long-term dreams and goals with those finances as well. I feel like others of you might have some sort of transformation work-wise, with all these, with these planets ruling your financial sector, and then this happening in a financial house as well. I think a lot of you might have transformation and changes regarding your own industry with this retrograde planets going here. Now we're also gonna have the eclipse, like I said, on the 29th of March at 8 degrees in your ninth house, and this is going to bring to you a whole new perspective about life. After you've done all that shadow work in your 8th house sector, and maybe you've left behind things that don't serve you anymore or people that don't serve you anymore, your entire view of the world is going to be changing. And it might not happen exactly on the day of the eclipse, but it's gonna be happening in the next 6 months. So a lot of you Leos, you might even have opportunities to unexpectedly travel abroad, to go somewhere, to a place that that heals you, that connects you maybe to the universe, to God, to a place that that you want to heal. You might go there to heal, maybe from a certain situation. And the ruler of the eclipse, Mars, is also in the 12th house for you. That's why I'm saying healing. That's going to be a major topic for a lot of you Leos. And then for others of you, you might run into individuals that are from different cultures, that are from different backgrounds. With Mars in the 12th house, you might have some sort of communication with them, situation with them, and it can feel peaceful in general. Like, the energy of eclipses is intense. It's always intense. I don't want to sugarcoat it. However, I think the effects of it are going to be more on the positive side. Now, for you as Leos, you still have to be careful, because sometimes the 12th house is referred as the house of losses. But if you have any sort of loss, then know that you're fulfilling some sort of karma in this lifetime, because Mars is making a positive aspect to Saturn, which is in your 8th house as well. So, and the 8th house is the house of karma too. So I feel like a lot of you might be completing some sort of karmic situation with this eclipse. It just hit me. It hit me like a brick. You might be completing some important karmic situation that is going to open good karma for you, because the eclipse is happening in the 9th house of good karma, but the ruler is making an aspect from the 12th to the 8th of the difficult karma. So you're releasing something that is not serving you anymore. You were supposed to be going through that in this lifetime. Obviously, this is not the case for everyone. Like, I don't want to scare you. This is a general reading, but you're leaving behind something karmic that is going to make you feel lighter in the long run. And you're going to have that mental capacity and stamina to overcome it, because Mars and Saturn in a positive connection to each other are giving you that extra strength that you need. And some of you are going to rely on God, some of you are going to rely on religion to overpass some sort of difficult situation. Mars is also making a positive aspect to Uranus, which for you Leos is in your 10th house. So you're going to be very open-minded when it comes to your status, when it comes to your career and the direction that you want to be going and what you want to be known to the world. You might have that important or those intelligent ideas to make the right decisions regarding this new beginning that you want to have in your 9th house matters. Some of you with the eclipse might meet individuals that are intelligent, smart. They can advise you about certain topics. Others of you might have to deal with a legal matter, or it could be that you close on a legal matter and you have some sort of new beginning as well. Okay, I hope I've covered the most important things, but I wish you the best of luck, Leos, with this eclipse. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your lives. You know I always read them. If you want to show some support for my work, please like, subscribe, and share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Hello, dear Virgo suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Eclipse in Aries astrology predictions, together with Venus re-entering the sign of Pisces and Mercury also re-entering the sign of Pisces predictions as well. If you haven't checked my Eclipse in Virgo video, please make sure to do so, as the effects of eclipses are long lasting. They could be lasting up to 6 months. So even though that eclipse has already happened, it might still be affecting your lives. And for you Virgos, that is of course important because that's the eclipse that was exactly on your sign. Now let's start with this video. Venus is going to re-enter the sign of Pisces in retrograde on March 27. And as it does so, it's going to be in a conjunction to Neptune and the North Node in your 7th house. Which means that a lot of your Virgos are reevaluating your long-term relationships. Some of you are reevaluating your marriages. Venus is a planet of romance, is the planet of love. So a lot of you are deciding if you want to be with a long-term partner or not anymore. And whatever you decide to be doing, some of you might leave behind actually somebody. Others of you might decide to leave some sort of resentment, decide to heal from it, and then work harder on the relationship. And the reason for that is that Venus is in exaltation in the sign of Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces, and this conjunction talks about healing and letting go in its higher vibration. In the lower vibration can talk about financial deception. So please be careful and make sure to triple check and double check anything, any contract that you might do or any financial discussions you may do with someone else. But like I said, in the higher vibration, this talks about healing and detaching and letting go. And then we also have Saturn over there very close to this conjunction, and Saturn can talk about working hard to in a current relationship or deciding to end it and let it go and kind of end some sort of karma associated with it. So Virgos, like I said, be careful with contracts, agreements, with financial discussions, financial situations. If there is an ex-partner that wants money from you, think twice, think 3 times about it, before you make any decisions or do anything like that. Some of you Virgos might straight up have exes coming back into your lives. With Virgo here, they might reach out to you. Mercury is joining Venus just 2 days after Venus re-enters Pisces, so on March 29. And this talks about maybe communication, having these individuals try to come back into your lives. Mercury rules you. It might be that you decide to reach out to them. So definitely a lot of exes and a lot of reevaluation when it comes to your long-term relationships. Now, if you're not in the market about dating and love and things like that, then this retrograde movement of Venus and Mercury into your 7th house can talk about certain agreements that you need to go through, certain agreements and contracts that you need to review and you need to reevaluate. That could be specifically related to your career. It could be related to your money-making abilities, your own financial income, because Venus rules your 2nd house of your income, and Mercury, besides ruling you, it rules your 10th house of career as well. So you might even have opportunities of changing your work, changing your job. Some of you Virgos might be signing a contract around this time. Please triple check things. Like I said, Mercury is retrograde, Venus is retrograde here. So just, be very careful with whatever you're signing, whatever agreement you decide to go into. And others of you might just hear from, recruiters and people who want to hire you, some old work opportunity you had. And maybe you're going to go through some interviewing process. You're going to have communication on one-on-one. This is the 7th house, is the house of the people that we have in front of us and we have discussions with. So For some of you, you might have people reaching out to you regarding your career, regarding your job, regarding your salary as well. Maybe somebody's offering you more money, and so you're thinking about this, if you should enter this contract with this company or this individual. For some of you, this might just be a period of doing all this work, and it might go a little slow. But when these two planets go direct and retouch the same area of the sky, that's when things might be going forward or moving faster for you if you decide to change your job or to change your career. Now, like I said, the solar eclipse is happening at 8 degrees, and for you, it's happening in your 8th house, initiating a lot of transformation when it comes to your own lives. The 8th house is the house of shared resources as well. So for some of you Virgos, with the eclipse here, maybe there is some sort of money-making opportunity for your partner or your family member, whoever you share your resources with, that might increase your shared resources, your shared income. Or the other way around, there could be a situation happening over there that kind of removes shared resource. This is an eclipse, so it's unpredictable in nature. It could go both ways. Eclipses either add something to our lives or they remove something. And in the 8th house of shared resources, it might add more shared resources, more money, or it might remove something that is not serving you anymore. The 8th house is also the house of our own fears and self-sabotaging patterns. With the eclipse here, some of you might decide to leave behind some sort of self-sabotaging pattern because it does not align with your long-term dreams and goals for the future. And that is because the ruler of the eclipse, Mars, is currently in your 11th house. That is the house of long-term dreams and goals for the future. So a lot of you might decide to identify things that don't serve you anymore, especially at the psychological level, and you might decide to leave it behind, to detach from it. The eclipse could make it disappear. For others of you, it could be that you become more obsessed with a long-term dream and goal for the future in a way that you want to push forward and you want to work really hard with it. Maybe it could be regarding a contract or regarding an agreement, because Mars is making a positive aspect to Saturn, which is also in the 7th house of your contracts and agreements. So with the eclipse happening in the 8th house of obsessions, like some of you are going to become really obsessed with a long-term dream and goal that you have, which in one hand is something good, right? That's how we achieve big things. But don't let it consume you. I think that even though the eclipse here in the 8th house might feel very heavy as an energy, because the 8th house is not easy, the effects could be more on the positive side in the long run, due to the positive aspects that Mars is making to Saturn, like I said, in your 7th house, but also to Uranus, which for you is in your 9th house. And so Uranus here can give you that intelligence and knowledge that you need to make the right decisions when it comes to your 8th house matters. It can give you that mental sharpness. It can give you the right people that could cross your path, that give you those out of the box type of ideas and thinking and arguments as well, that you need to make the right decisions when it comes to this breakthrough that you could be having in your 8th house matters. For some of you, like I said, there could be changes happening in your shared resources and finances that you have with someone, and you might have some sort of legal support also to be able to have those changes as well. Okay, this is what I have for you, Virgos. I wish you the best of luck for this eclipse, please, and retrograde season. Please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. And if you want to show some support for my work, you can like, subscribe, and share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Hello, dear Libra suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your eclipse in the sign of Aries astrology predictions, together with Venus and Mars retrograde motion into the sign of Pisces. If you haven't listened to my video of eclipse in Virgo, please make sure to do so, as even though that eclipse has already passed, it's still going to impact your life in the next 6 months. So please make sure to listen to that one as well. Now, for this video, first I want to start with Venus going retrograde into the sign of Pisces exactly on March 27. Venus has already been here in this area of the sky. When it was direct, it moved into the sign of Aries, and now it's going back into the sign of Pisces. And as it does so, it's going to be in a conjunction to Neptune and the North Node in your 6th house. So a lot of you Libras might be doing a lot of reflection when it comes to your own physical health. I don't want to say that a lot of you, please be careful. You need to be careful when it comes to your own physical body, because there might be some sort of concern that could be showing up again regarding your own physical health and your own physical body. So please be careful and make sure you take care of your own health. Venus is also your 1st house ruler, which is your appearance, you as a person. So again, take care of your health, nourish your body, and cherish it, take care of it. Now, for others of you, this retrograde motion of Venus might just talk about going back to all the ways that you used to nourish your body with. Like if you had some sort of routine, you might decide to go back to it, to take care of yourselves, to love your body, to maybe do the skincare that you used to do before, or to eat the foods you used to eat before, so that you can feel better when it comes to your own health. Venus, besides ruling your 1st house, it also rules the 8th house, which is a house of transformation. So some of you Virgos might really decide to make some sort of transformation when it comes to your own physical body. And for others of you, the 6th house rules your day-to-day job. So you might maybe go back to an old job or old opportunity that was given to you. Others of you, you might just decide to reflect and recalculate whether you're in the right industry, whether you are in the right job, if that fits your personal schedule, if that fits into your daily responsibilities. Like, let's say if you're a mother or if you're a father, maybe you have children to take care of, and this retrograde motion of Venus here is going to make you understand and reflect whether you can still keep this job, or if you need work that has different hours that is more suitable for your day-to-day life and day-to-day routine as well. Some of you Libras might have some sort of transformation in your work as well, in a way that maybe the work environment is changed, or maybe your responsibilities are changed, maybe your own power at work is somehow changed, or it's coming back to you, or there's a situation that is going to help you reset your own personal power at work. Now, keep in mind that Venus is in conjunction to Neptune and also in a conjunction to the North Node. So be careful from deceits, be careful from things that maybe are not as clear in the moment. We do have the presence of Saturn still in your 6th house, so I feel like even though there might be like deceptions or things that are a bit hidden from you, you're still gonna have that clarity and that understanding with the presence of Saturn here. Remember to be ethical at your work, at your job, because Saturn here can be teaching lessons. So be extra careful, and again, be careful also with your physical health. Some of you might decide to leave behind a certain addiction, to detach yourselves from it, to leave it behind, because of the presence of Saturn, but also because Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces, and also in a conjunction to Neptune, which also rules Pisces. It can talk about leaving behind something that is not serving you anymore when it comes to your addictions and things that are not good for you, for your mental health or your physical body as well. Even though these are happening in the 6th house, they're still triggering the 12th house of your mental health. Now, Mercury is also going to be joining Venus just 2 days later on March 29. And Mercury rules your 9th house and your 12th houses. That's why I talked about your mental health. Maybe you're going to reflect on your schedule, on your daily routine, like if it's good for you, if it's good for your mental health. Like a lot of you are going to decide maybe to leave a job behind or to start a new job because you want to have maybe some sort of freedom, or you want to take care of your own health and also your responsibilities as well. Now on March 29th, the same day that Mercury moves into the sign of Pisces, we're also going to have a solar eclipse in the sign of Aries at 8 degrees in your 7th house. And for a lot of you Libras, this can talk about having some sort of change when it comes to contracts and agreements. Like I said, maybe you're going to have all these changes in your career sector, in your job, day-to-day job, the job that pays your bills. And therefore, maybe you decide to enter a new contract, or you decide to leave behind a contract. Like eclipses, they add or remove something from our lives. And so after all this reflection that you may be doing, maybe you decide to leave, a job that is not serving you anymore. Or others of you maybe you're going to prove yourselves with Saturn here that you are worthy of receiving a promotion or getting on a higher level when it comes to your job responsibilities. And that's why this eclipse in the 7th house talks about a new beginning when it comes to some sort of new contract and agreement that you're going to have in place. Now, if you're not working, if this does not apply to you, then you might have some breakthrough, some changes when it comes to your long-term relationships, partnerships with other people. Some of you might get into a long-term relationship in the next 6 months. You might get married. Some of you might leave behind a relationship or leave somebody behind if that relationship is not serving you anymore. Now, the ruler of the eclipse, Mars, is in the sign of Cancer, and it is for you in your 10th house. So you might have some sort of change there when it comes to your status and what you're known to the world. Like I said, you might have some changes in your long-term relationships. Maybe you decide to get married, or you decide to divorce or separate from someone, and that's also kind of seen from other people as well. It's pretty visible from others. It could also be because you're leaving somebody so that you can protect your own career, you can protect your own status and what you're known into the world, because Mars in the sign of Cancer makes us very protective of whatever is ours, whatever belongs to us. And in the 10th house, it can be related to protecting your status, protecting your name, and what you're known into the world as well. What I like about this, though, is that Mars here is making a positive aspect to Saturn. And Saturn for you is in your 6th house. So, as you're having these new beginnings in your relationships and contracts and agreements, you're keeping in mind your daily responsibilities and also your public status. You might have that drive and stamina to do your daily responsibilities, run your errands, maybe do your responsibilities at your job because you want to preserve and keep a certain status that you have in this world. And the other thing about this Mars is that it's also making a positive aspect to Uranus, which for you is located in your 8th house. And Uranus here can give you that strong intuition that you need to make the right decisions. It can give you that open-mindedness to make the right transformation in your life, and to feel basically fearless about what is to come, about what your life could be changing into and could be transforming into. So yeah, Libras, you're one of the most impacted signs, of course, because this eclipse is happening in your 7th house and is going to be impacting your career status, your legacy, what you're known to the world. For some of you, there may be changes regarding your home environment. Some of you may decide to retire. Some of you may decide to become stay-at-home moms. Others of you might decide to start a new job because it makes you feel better about your mental health, uh, about your schedule, like daily schedule is more suitable for you. You might have different reasons depending on your own charts and your own circumstances. But as you make all these decisions, of course, your own character, personality, individuality is also going to be affected as well. Okay, I wish you the best of luck, Libras. Please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. I know that there's other Libras out there that would love to read from you and relate to you. So share that knowledge, share that experience with the rest of the world. And if you want to show some support for my work, you can like, subscribe, and share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from it. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one. Hello, dear Scorpio suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your eclipse in Aries astrology predictions, together with Venus and Mercury going retrograde into the sign of Pisces. If you haven't checked my video related to the eclipse we had in the sign of Virgo, please still make sure to do so, as the effects of eclipses could be lasting up to 6 months. So even though this eclipse happened a few days ago, it might still be impacting you. Now for this video, Venus is re-entering the sign of Pisces on March 27, and as it does so, it's going to be in a conjunction to Neptune and also the North Node in your 5th house. Which gives you the opportunity, Scorpios, to really reflect on your own flirting style, your own romance, your own romantic approach to individuals that you're interested in. And you might be doing a lot of reevaluation. This transit can also bring you some sort of exes coming back, or people you used to flirt with, people you used to talk to, people you used to date. They could be coming back to you, and they could be coming back to you because they want a relationship with you. Venus rules your 7th house of your relationships, so they might be coming back. Okay, keep that in mind, Scorpios. I know that's gonna make you so happy because you want to be unforgettable. So some people have not forgotten about you, and this retrograde motion into the 5th house could be highlighting that. Now, if you're not, about that, if you're not in the market, quote unquote, for romance, then there could be some sort of situation coming back into the life of one of your children that it somehow affects you in one way or another. This situation is something that you didn't know about, maybe because Venus does rule your 12th house of hidden things. So this situation could be resurfacing, and you might have to help one of your children regarding that. If you don't have children, then the 5th house is a house of your own creative skills and your own hobbies. A lot of you Scorpios might be going back into certain skills that you had before, certain interests that you had before, certain creative abilities that you had before, and that might be because you maybe get some sort of aha moment, some sort of clarity regarding your own artistic abilities and creative skills. And like I mentioned, Venus rules your 12th house of creativity. And so you might get those downloads in a very easy way. If you have a business, then there could be clients and customers coming back to you. Maybe, they haven't been there for a while. Now they're wanting to come back to you and maybe re-collaborate with you, get into contract agreements with you. Venus rules your 7th house, like I said, and the 7th house is a house about contracts and agreements. Now, keep in mind that whatever agreement you decide to enter or go into, you have to double check it and triple check it, because Mercury is going to re-enter the sign of Pisces just 2 days after, on the day of the eclipse. And Mercury in retrograde, you know, it's going to make you and the rest of the world double check on a lot of things. Mercury also rules your 8th house and 11th houses. So a lot of you Scorpios might be wanting to maybe heal from self-sabotaging patterns and fears that you have, and you may be doing or releasing that through your own creative skills and your artistic abilities as well. Others of you, you might go back, like I said, to some sort of creative thing that you used to have before, because it's something that you've been wanting to do for a while, with Mercury being the ruler of your long-term dreams and goals for the future. Because you've been wanting to do this, you decide to kind of maybe gain more knowledge associated with it, or go back to this skill that you may have. The 5th house is also the house of your risky investments. So some of you Scorpios are going to go back to those risky investments. Maybe you're going to reassess your calculations, think and rethink about things. Keep in mind that Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. It is in conjunction to Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces. So at the higher vibration, this is like creativity and relying on your intuition and trusting God and the universe. But at the lower vibration, you can talk about confusion and illusions. So if you decide to do some sort of risky investment, please be extra careful. Saturn is also there in your 5th house for you. And Saturn is teaching a lot of you Scorpios to be disciplined maybe, or careful or calculative when it comes to your risk investments. So just be careful with this transit. Now let's talk about the eclipse. The eclipse is happening on March 29 at 8 degrees in your 6th house, which can talk about new beginnings when it comes to your own responsibilities at work. For some of you Scorpios, maybe your work environment is changing, your colleagues are changing, maybe your role is changing with a company, or the role of some colleague is changing with a company. There could be some new beginning over there. For others of you, you may have this like fresh new start career-wise. You may get a new job with this new eclipse. And even though it might not happen exactly on the day of, it could be happening on the next 6 months. So you might start a new job, you might change your responsibilities at work, or there could be some changes and shifts in your work environment. Now, if you don't have a job, then the 6th house is also the ruler of your physical body, of your physical health. With the eclipse here, maybe you're going to leave behind some health problem, which could be a wonderful blessing. But for others of you, it could be that there's some new beginning, maybe with a health issue. So please be careful with your physical body, with your physical health. Take care of it, nourish it, love it. And, you know, be careful. Eclipses are karmic in nature. They are quite unpredictable, but they do add things, or they remove things out of our lives. And so when your health department, you know, that's why you gotta be a bit careful. The 6th house is also the house of your daily responsibilities, the errands that you run, the bills that you pay, you know, your day-to-day life. So there might be some changes there, maybe changes in schedule, changes in your routines. Maybe you don't have to do something anymore, like as a routine thing, or something new is added and you have some sort of new beginning there. The ruler of the eclipse is Mars, and for you Scorpios, Mars is currently sitting in the sign of Cancer in the 9th house. So as you have this new beginnings in your 6th house, so there could be some situation that is triggering a need to protect your own knowledge, or you to protect your own kind of power when it comes to whatever you're an expert on. You might have to have also maybe some sort of protection when it comes to legal matter, or when it comes to citizenships, like things that are associated with a 9th house. So there may be some new beginning associated, let's say, at your job, at your work, that is making you Scorpios be protective of your own knowledge. Let's say For some of you, you might receive a promotion with the eclipse in the 6th house, and that is tied to your personal knowledge and what you are an expert for in your industry, at your job. It could be because of that, it could be due to that. There is a need here to protect whatever you're so knowledgeable on and whatever you can teach other people as well. For others of you, it could be that this eclipse is maybe shifting your daily responsibilities, but in a way that it allows you to maybe travel or to go somewhere far with Mars here in the 9th house. That would be so nice to travel for work. That's like my dream. But some of you might definitely get that opportunity. Now, what I love about this eclipse is that Mars is making a positive aspect to Saturn, and whenever these two planets are connected together, there is a lot of drive and stamina and a lot of push to overcome any sort of difficulty or obstacle that could come on the way. And so Saturn is in your 5th house, like I said earlier, and it's giving you that knowledge and the sharpness that you need to make the right decisions when it comes to your 6th house matters. Mars is also in a positive aspect to Uranus, which for you is sitting in the 7th house. So maybe there is an authority figure or a partner that could be advising you or giving you the right ideas, the right advice that you need to make the right decisions regarding these big changes that you might be having in your 6th house matters. Okay, Scorpios, this is what I have for you for this video. I wish you the best of luck. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your lives. Let us all know in the comments how things are going for you, because I know that there's other Scorpios that would love to relate to you and learn from you as you're going through these changes. If you want to show some support for my work, you can like, subscribe, and share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Hello, dear Sagittarian suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your eclipse in the sign of Aries astrology predictions, together with Venus going retrograde in the sign of Pisces and Mercury as well. If you haven't checked my video regarding the eclipse in the sign of Virgo, please still make sure to do so, as even though eclipses happen on a certain date, the effects of it can be felt up to 6 months. So that eclipse might still be impacting your life. Now for this video, I'm going to start talking about Venus, which on March 27 is going to be re-entering the sign of Pisces. And as it does so, it's going to be in a conjunction to Neptune and the North Node, all in your 4th house, which makes you Sagittarians one of the most impacted signs of this eclipse, this retrograde motion of Venus and Mercury as well. So a lot of you might be really rethinking about relocating or moving back into a place that you used to live in, maybe a city that you used to live in, or a neighborhood, or a country as well. A lot of you Sagittarians might be doing a lot of research work and thinking and rethinking about moving somewhere else, maybe to a place that you used to live in before, like I said, but that you've been wanting to move into for a long time, because Venus rules your 11th house of your dreams and goals that you have for the future. For some of you, it could be that you're looking to relocate to a place due to your work, due to your job, because Venus rules your 6th house, and because Mercury, like I said, is also joining Venus just 2 days later. And Mercury rules your 10th house of your career and public status as well. Some of you Sagittarians might also be looking into moving in with someone, moving out with someone, because Mercury rules your 7th house. So there could be some sort of involvement of a partner, which can be a romantic partner, or I guess in this case a romantic partner. That's who you usually live with, right? Not a business partner. So for a lot of you, like I said, you might be thinking about your home environment and where you live, you might decide to kind of let go of somebody that you live with. Like maybe if you have children that you live with, they might go somewhere else, they might move out, maybe they get married, maybe they move in with their boyfriend, girlfriend, or they go out for college, and your home environment kind of shifts in one way or another. Whereas for others of you, you might just decide to move out of living with someone, and you may decide to go somewhere else where you used to live in before you had this sort of lifestyle with this person. Like for example, if you live with your boyfriend or with your girlfriend, there could be a situation that might make you decide to kind of move out and go back to wherever you were living before. Obviously, that's not the case for everyone. Don't freak out, but it could be the case for some of you, especially because we have the involvement of the North Node here, and the North Node is quite fated in nature. And let's not forget that Saturn is also in your fourth house, and Saturn is teaching a lot of you Sagittarians to be disciplined or to have boundaries with family members. That's what I would say, to create some certain boundaries with people that maybe cross them. And so Venus could be bringing situations here in this retrograde motion together with Mercury that might need a lot of you Sagittarians to heal and let go of certain family dynamics and relationships that are not serving you anymore. I'm talking about letting go because this conjunction is with Neptune. Neptune is a planet of letting go. This is happening in the sign of Pisces as well. In the higher vibration, you let go and you heal from whatever difficult emotions that could have been rising in your home sector. In the lower vibration, maybe there could be deceits and lies that are being exposed with this retrograde motion here. They're brought into the surface, and a lot of you might need to go back to certain discussions with family members that need to be cleared, brought to the surface, and eventually let go and let behind. For others of you, the fourth house is the house of your emotional world, so you might just decide to do a lot of introspection, like think and rethink about your own way of how you view life, how you view your world. You might, become more grateful. You might try to heal your own emotions, your own inner demons, and feel healing, like feel healed, feel happy and optimistic. But like I said, let's not forget that Saturn is still here, so you might still feel the heaviness of Saturn in your house of emotions. It's just that Mercury there, as it goes retrograde, it might help you become more mentally detached and more logical when it comes to the way how you approach your own emotions. Now on March 29, the same day as Mercury is going to go into the sign of Pisces, we're also going to have the solar eclipse in Aries at 8 degrees in your fifth house, which for a lot of you can talk about having the chance to have a child, maybe not on the day of the eclipse, but in the next 6 months. So if you're deciding to have a baby, keep in mind that the sky allows you, I guess, to have one. Whereas for others of you, if you're not planning to have kids, just be extra careful. For others of you, there could be a situation that is happening in one of the lives of one of your children. So you might it could be something major that affects you as well, that you learn about as well, and it somehow changes the life for you too. The fifth house is also the house of your own creative skills and abilities. So for a lot of you Sagittarians, you might pursue a new creative skill, a new creative ability that lets you express yourselves freely, and that lets you kind of enjoy life as well. For others of you, the fifth house is the house of romance. So in the next 6 months, you might meet somebody romantically that you have some sort of soul contract with, that kind of changes your perspective about life and makes you more happy, makes you more excited as well. Now I do want to say that the ruler of the eclipse is Mars, And Mars for you is in your 8th house, which talks about some sort of transformation you're still going to be making. Like, even though the eclipse is happening in your 5th house, there's still a need to maybe transform maybe your own emotional world. Like, with this retrograde planets going into your 4th house, there's a lot of introspection and rethinking and thinking about your own emotions. And the ruler of the eclipse in the 8th house can give you that extra power that you need to make the right transformation. Now, with the eclipse in the 5th house, there might be a need here to protect, I would say, maybe your own mental health. There could be a situation that maybe is not easy, that could be triggering that. It could be triggering the need to be protective of your own psychology, of your own psychological mind, and also of your own like mental health, like I said. The 5th house is also the house of risky investments. So for some of you, you might have some risky investment going very well for you. On the other hand, it could bring losses as well, because like I said, eclipses are unpredictable in nature. So they either add something into our lives or they remove it. So be careful, be extra careful. The ruler of the eclipse, like I said, is the 8th house of investments and of making money through other people's money. So some of you might be prone to making money, like I said, through risky investments, through other people's money as well. What I like about this eclipse and this ruler is that it is in a trine to Saturn, and Saturn for you is in the 4th house. So you're gonna have that strong intuition that you need to push forward into this new beginning related to your 5th house matters. Mars is also making a positive aspect to Uranus, which for you is currently located in your, let me see, in your 6th house, which can give you the right, I guess, clear thinking and promptness that you need to do anything that you need to do in your daily life and day-to-day life, like daily routine, to be able to achieve those big changes that you need to have in your 5th house matters. Uranus can talk about even ideas you might get from like your colleagues or people that you deal with on a daily basis. They might give you some like genius ideas or smart ideas that could be triggering something related to this new beginning in the 5th house. Like maybe they give you an advice on how to help one of your children, or they give you an advice for risky investment, or they give you some sort of advice on a romantic partner or like romantic field, and you're like, you get that aha moment. You're like, oh, let me transform myself, let me change the way how I approach to this emotionally, and maybe I can approach to this individual, ask them on a date, or maybe I can help one of my children in a different way, or maybe I can approach this creative skill that I have on a different perspective, on a different point of view. So you can reflect on different ways depending on your personal chart and also your personal circumstances. Okay, Sagittarians, this is what I have for you for this video. I wish you the best of luck. Please let us know in the comments how things are going in your lives. There's a lot of other Sagittarians that would love to learn from you and relate to you, so that we can overcome this intense period all together, supporting each other. If you want to show some support for my work as well, you can like, subscribe, and share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I will see you on the next video. Hello, dear Capricorn suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your solar eclipse in Aries astrology predictions, and also the retrograde movement of Venus and Mercury into the sign of Pisces. If you haven't listened to my video of eclipse in the sign of Virgo, please still make sure to do so, as even though this eclipse happened a few days ago, the effects of it could be felt up to 6 months, so it still might be impacting your life. Now for this video, I'm gonna start talking about Venus re-entering the sign of Pisces on March 27 in a conjunction to Neptune and the North Node in your 3rd house. Venus already was here. It went into the sign of Aries and then stationed retrograde, and now it's moving back into the sign of Pisces. And in your 3rd house, it can talk about maybe some sort of career opportunity that is coming back to you, Capricorns, with Venus being the ruler of your 10th house. Some of you might have an old manager or authority figure in your career, at your job, that is reaching out to you, maybe to check on you or to give to you some sort of opportunity to go back and work with them or for them. For others of you, this retrograde motion in the 3rd house can talk about maybe a romantic interest coming back into your life, like somebody that you used to date, somebody that you used to like, they used to flirt with. Maybe you dated for a little bit. They might be reaching out to you, with Venus being the ruler of your 5th house, and in Venus going into the 3rd can talk about like straight up communication. Maybe they're texting you, messaging you, DMing you, you know, doing all those things. For others of you, you might receive some sort of news related to a risk investment. And then if you have children, you might receive some news regarding an old topic or a situation that one of your children might have gone through in the past. Maybe there's some news associated with it. And if there's some sort of little secret they're keeping from you, then this retrograde motion could be exposing it, and you now know about something that one of your children could have been doing and that you didn't know about. For others of you, Capricorns, you might decide to give some sort of communication to other people, to your immediate environment, regarding your status. Let's say you were in a relationship, other people didn't know about it, you decide to tell others, to tell the world. If you're having any changes in your own relationships with other people, you might decide to kind of tell others as well about it. You know, you have communication here. This is in the 3rd house. If you are in the writing, publishing industry, teaching, giving certifications, if you are in marketing and sales, then there might be customers, clients coming back to you, and that somehow affects your career and how you're known into the world, like your own industry as well. Like I mentioned earlier, Mercury is going to join Venus in the sign of Pisces just 2 days later on March 29, when we also have the eclipse. And Mercury is going to be in the same position as Venus is on the 27th. So Mercury rules your 6th house and your 9th house. The 6th house is a house of your job. That's why I feel like a lot of you are going to have old opportunities coming back to you. Some of you are going to decide to take them. Some of you are going to decide to leave a certain career, to leave a certain job, so that you can start something new. Or you can decide to go back to where you used to work at. There might be some need to let go of something, to let go of maybe some career or some job, or maybe some creative skill that you have, because Venus is going to be in conjunction to Neptune, and Venus is exalted at Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces, and at the higher vibration you can talk about letting go and kind of healing, and hoping for something bigger, something better for you. In a lower vibration you can talk about lies and deceit, so be careful in your daily communication with other people. We also have Saturn here in the sign of Pisces, so I feel like we're gonna go from being realistic to not as much realistic, you know, from one thing to the other. But eventually, as Venus goes direct in this area of the sky, we're gonna decide to let go of something that is not healthy for us anymore, or it's not serving us anymore, and that's definitely gonna happen for you as well. Now, the eclipse that we're going to have is at 8 degrees on March 29 in your 4th house. And of course, that makes you one of the most impacted signs, because I feel like in the next 6 months, some of you might decide to move, to relocate to another place. And it could be, again, because of your job, because of your career, because of your daily responsibilities. Let's say for a better commute to work, you decide to relocate somewhere closer to your job. For others of you, you might need to relocate or you might need to expand your home because something could be happening in the life of one of your children. Maybe they want to move in with you, or they want to move out. Maybe they're going to go to college. Let's say, you get the communication with Venus in the sign of Pisces that one of your children is accepted at a university, let's say, and they decide to move out. So in the next 6 months, you have this big change happening in your fourth house, this new beginning in your home environment. For others of you Capricorns, like I said, you decide to buy a new house, to sell, to relocate, to move to a new place. And then for others of you, you might just change the way how you view the world and change the way how you deal with your own emotions, because the fourth house is the house of emotions. Like I said, the career sector is already triggered. That new beginning, the eclipse could bring a new career for you. It could remove an old one as well. That's how eclipses are. They go both ways. They either add something to your lives or they remove something. But as you have these changes in your home environment, of course, it's also going to affect your relationships, your marriage partner or your long-term partner, or simply your one-on-one relationships with other people. And so expect some changes, some new beginnings in that as well. Mars is the ruler of this eclipse, and Mars for you in the sign of Cancer is in your 7th house. So like I said, as you make these changes in your home environment, there's also changes in your partnerships. You might need to protect one of your partners, I have to say, with this eclipse. Something could be happening in your home environment that you need to protect one of your partners. Like, let's say your spouse doesn't get along with your mother or your father. There's some conflict happening there that's intense, because eclipses are intense. And so you have to step in and protect your spouse or protect your partner. It could also be that you want to protect maybe some sort of real estate, some sort of home environment. So, be careful with contracts and agreements and things like that. Because Mars in the sign of Cancer makes us protect everything that we love, everyone that we love. And in the 7th house, it can be about a partner that we love, or a contract that we have some sort of emotional connection with. So what I like about this, though, is that Mars is making a positive aspect to Saturn in the sign of Pisces in your 3rd house. So even though the eclipse might bring something intense, some intense situation, some fated situation, you might still have that extra drive and stamina and push to be able to make the right decisions when it comes to the new changes that could be happening in your 4th house. And like I said, even though this might not happen on the day of the eclipse, it might happen 6 months after. Mars is also making a positive aspect to Uranus, which for you is sitting in your 5th house, and is giving you those genius ideas that you need to have these new beginnings in the 4th house. Like, you might be more open-minded, you might be more willing to take risks and to take a leap of faith when it comes to your home environment, where you want to be and where you want to go. Like I said, you might need to protect something or someone, but eventually you're gonna have that, you're gonna take some sort of leap of faith to have a new start, a new beginning in your home environment or real estate or whoever you are living with. Like I said, expect changes in your career as well, partnerships, your own identity and personality. This is an angular house where the eclipse is happening, and you're one of the most impacted signs. Keep that in mind. Okay, Capricorns, this is what I have for you. Please let us know in the comments below how things are going in your lives, because there's so many other Capricorns. I would love to hear from you and relate to you. And then if you want to show some support for my work, you can like, subscribe, and share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Hello, dear Aquarius suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your solar eclipse in the sign of Aries astrology predictions, together with the retrograde movement of Venus and Mercury into the sign of Pisces. If you haven't checked my video regarding the eclipse in the sign of Virgo, please make sure to do so, because even though we had the eclipse just a few days ago, the effects of it can be felt up to 6 months, and therefore that eclipse could still be affecting your life. So make sure to check that as well. Now for this video, I want to start talking about Venus re-entering the sign of Pisces in a conjunction to Neptune and the North Node in your second house. This is going to happen on March 27. And of course, it's going to bring a lot of focus on your own personal finances and resources that you have. It could be that some of you Aquarians are going to decide to maybe spend money in moving back to where you used to live. If you used to live with a partner or with your parents or simply by yourself in another city, in another apartment, house, country, then you might be looking into relocating again over there. And that could be because, it could be related to your finances. It could be financially better for you or healthier for you to just move somewhere else. So you're thinking and rethinking with Venus here in the second house to kind of go back to this place. Now, because the North Node is here, it could be fated, like a fated situation, meaning that maybe you're moving somewhere else or you're needing to move somewhere else because you need to meet somebody that you have some sort of soul contract with. Now, obviously, that's the case just for a few of you, but it can definitely be as a scenario. And I'm talking about relocating to a new home because Venus rules your fourth house of home and real estate. Now, for others of you, it could be that you're maybe looking into spending some money into going to a foreign travel, foreign country, maybe to a place that you've been to before, with Venus also ruling your ninth house. Or it could be that some of you Aquarians need to spend money maybe on an old legal matter to kind of close it down. Or it could be that a legal matter is showing up and you kind of have to put some money into it and some attention into it as well. Now, Venus is in a conjunction here to Neptune. And in a higher vibration, this can talk about gaining that download that you need from God, from the universe, to have the right creativity to increase your personal income and make more money. With the North Node here in the second house, it can make you even more obsessed about increasing your personal income. So some of you might recalculate and rethink about ways that you can make more money for yourselves. Like you could be using your own knowledge, things that you are an expert on, with Venus being the ninth house ruler, to increase your resources and to increase your income. This is like the higher vibration. The lower vibration talks about deceits, illusions related to finances. So please be very careful with your personal income, with your own income during this retrograde season. This is your second house. Please be very, very careful. We do still have Saturn here in the second house for you, which is teaching a lot of you Aquarians to be disciplined with your money, with your income, to be careful, to be realistic about it, about how you make money and how you spend money. So even though Venus is with Neptune there, like I'm bringing those illusions, I feel like you're gonna be switching from being Delulu to being realistic very often. And as Venus goes direct into the same area of the sky, maybe you're gonna decide to let go of some source of income that is not serving you anymore, or that does not make you feel valued or comfortable, or it does not align with your personal values anymore. Let's just say it that way. Whereas others of you, you might decide to use your creativity to empower and make your own financial health even better, even stronger. You may use creativity here. We have Venus being exalted in Pisces and Neptune ruling Pisces as well. This is a strong conjunction. And these two planets are definitely stronger than Saturn here. But you still have that realistic approach with Saturn. You're still gonna feel the heaviness and seriousness of Saturn in your second house matters. Okay, so Mercury is also gonna join Venus just 2 days later on the day of the eclipse on March 29. and Mercury rules your 5th house and your 8th house. So now Mercury brings the focus of shared resources and shared finances. So you're going to be reevaluating if you can afford the way how you're living, your lifestyle. If you share resources and finances with someone else, there could be topics arising related to how much money you're making, how much you're spending, how much you're contributing to your shared resources, how much somebody else is contributing to them. And some of you might go back to an old way of the way how you used to share resources with someone else, whereas others of you might use some old creative skill and hobby that you had in the past to increase your personal income and make more money, with Mercury being the ruler of your 5th house. Now let's talk about the eclipse. The eclipse is happening in your 3rd house, which talks about your immediate environment. Some of your Aquarians, like I mentioned earlier, might be relocating, and that's why in the next 6 months your immediate environment could be changing, meaning you have new neighbors, new place, new surroundings. People that you deal with on a daily basis are different. Your commute is different. You might be more on the road or less on the road. Whereas for others of you, you might have opportunities to do short distance travel trips, to like nearby cities, nearby states. And it could feel, quite exciting. It could feel healing in general. For others of you, if you are in the writing industry, publishing, certifications, sales, marketing, then this eclipse can talk about some breakthrough happening there. You gain the spotlight, or it could be that you decide to leave behind a sort of career and embrace something new. Like I said, eclipses are unpredictable in nature. We have kind of the theme that it's happening in the 3rd house, and we know where the ruler is, which will be talking here in a minute. But they either remove something or they add something into our lives. It could be that for some of you Aquarians, there might be something important happening in the life of one of your siblings as well. And for others of you, if you have a business, then maybe there could be customers or clients coming to you. Like I say, you might gain some sort of exposure over there as well. Now, the ruler of the eclipse is Mars, like I said. And for you, Mars is transiting your 6th house, which is the house of your day-to-day job. So I think a lot of your Aquarians, like I said, your focus is on your finances with these 2 planets going retrograde in your 2nd house, and then the ruler of the eclipse is in the 6th house. You might have some changes there in your job, in your career. Maybe some of you are going to get a promotion. Maybe you're going to get a new job that like changes your personal income, and you have new responsibilities maybe as well. There is a change here with income and job and career as well. For others of you, it could be about that commute that I talked about earlier with the eclipse in the 3rd house. With the commute, your daily responsibilities could also be changing. There might be a situation for just a few of you to where you need to protect and take care of one of your colleagues. Maybe you need to be there for them, assist them, support them with a certain project, or it could be that they do that for you. They support you in whatever you may be doing around this time. Some of you Aquarians may decide to have some sort of new beginning in your thinking process as well, with the eclipse in the 3rd house when it comes to your own mental health. And that is because the Mars is in the 6th house of your physical body, of your physical health. So you might decide to make a change on your day-to-day life because it feels better for your own mental health, because there could be something happening with your physical body that it kind of quote unquote forces you to change your lifestyle and to have some sort of beginning there. What I like about Mars here is that it's making a positive aspect to Saturn, which again is in your 2nd house. So whatever decision you decide to make regarding your immediate environment, your day-to-day work, your day-to-day job, and also your daily communication with other people, it's going to be long lasting, and it might help you solidify your personal income, your own money making abilities. and you might put in place some sort of discipline that it can be very, very positive for you, lucrative, long lasting with Saturn here, with this positive aspect between these two planets. And you're gonna have that extra drive and stamina to do those daily routines that you need to do, to have those changes in the third house. As we know, Mars is not strong in the sign of Cancer, but it's receiving support from Saturn. We love that. At the same time, Mars is also making a positive aspect to Uranus in the sign of Taurus, and Uranus for you is in your fourth house. So there could be a family member that is giving you a tip or two or supporting you, surprisingly. Okay, Uranus is the planet of surprises. Somebody, a family member, is surprisingly helping you to have the changes in your immediate environment. Maybe relocate, maybe get a new job, or get some sort of new opportunity to make more money and increase your personal income. It could be that for others of you, a family member is maybe giving you some smart idea with Uranus here to increase your income, to save more money, to budget more, and also to have some sort of change in your daily routines, daily commute, day-to-day job. Your immediate environment is changing, Aquarians. I'll tell you that. Okay, this is what I have for you for this video. Please let me know in the comments below how things are going into your lives. There are a lot of people that would love to learn from you, to hear from you. A lot of other Aquarians that want to relate to you and kind of share the burden of the eclipse season with you. Let me know in the comments, and if you want to show some support, you can like, subscribe, and share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Hello, dear Pisces. Where's my Pisces tribe? Welcome to your solar eclipse in Aries astrology predictions, together with Venus and Mercury re-entering your sign of Pisces. If you haven't listened to my eclipse in Virgo astrology predictions, please make sure to do so, because even though that eclipse happened just a few days ago, the effects of it can be felt up to 6 months, and therefore it could still be impacting your lives. As you know, I'm a Pisces sun, so I'm excited about your reading. On March 27, we're going to have Venus re-entering the sign of Pisces, and as it does so, it's going to be in a conjunction to Neptune and your North Node in your first house. This can talk about a lot of self-healing that a lot of you Pisces may be doing when it comes to your identity, your boundaries with other people, the way how you want to be perceived into the world, and how you want others to take you. Venus is exalted in your sign, Neptune rules your sign, so this conjunction is very strong. And if you couple that with the intense energy that the North Node brings, it can talk about a lot of reassessment, reflection, and reevaluation when it comes to your character, when it comes to your personality, and how you want other people to see you. A lot of you may be leaving behind old ways of viewing yourself, old ways of identifying yourself. Like, you might be shedding skin, quote unquote, and leaving behind old ways that don't serve you anymore. And the Venus here gives you the opportunity to do a lot of introspection, but as it's going to go direct in the same area of the sky, that's when you're going to feel the healing even more. In the conjunction to Neptune here, talks about letting go of something that doesn't serve you, again with your personality, with your character, something that maybe you feared, maybe some self-sabotaging pattern. Venus does rule your 8th house of your own fears, traumas, self-sabotaging patterns, so you might bring those to the surface and kind of heal yourself and detach yourselves from that. Saturn is also still in your first house, and you're still gonna feel the heaviness of this energy because Saturn is there, but you're gonna be triggered to let go of those fears, sabotaging patterns, and kind of build even healthier boundaries around you and with people that are in your lives. Venus also rules your third house, so there can be some sort of communication that shapes and changes the way how you come across into the world. It might change your personality. Like there is some important communication coming through. It could also be maybe that your immediate environment is changing in one way or another. If any of you Pisces is moving, changing home, changing real estate, then it could be that some sort of communication is coming through with this retrograde motion. It's just that with Mercury also going retrograde in the same area of the sky just 2 days later, whatever decision you decide to make regarding home, real estate, or relocating somewhere else, just make sure to double check, triple check, and be very careful with whatever you decide to sign, or if you have to do some sort of contract there. Like I said, Mercury is joining Venus on March 29, just a couple of days later. And Mercury rules your 4th house and your 7th house, the two of the most important houses of your chart. And it could be that there is a topic related to home, like I said, real estate, that needs to be reevaluated, rechecked. There's a conjunction to Neptune. Neptune in the lower vibration brings confusion, lies, deceits. Be very careful, very careful. It could be that there is a partner also that you decide to kind of leave behind as well, I have to say. Or it could be that if they have lied to you, or if you have lied to them, there are lies being brought to the surface and exposed with this retrograde motion. And because it is in the 1st house, it kind of affects you. It affects the way how you view yourself, the way how you view your relationship, your marriage, if you are in a marriage. If you're not in a marriage, if you don't have a long-term partner, then it can be that there's a business relationship that is being brought into the surface here. There are situations and conversations that need to be made or revisited so that you can have some sort of fresh start in your own life, in your 1st house. Because Venus, yes, is moving retrograde into your sign, but then it's going to go direct and give you that fresh new beginning when it comes to your whole entire life. Because the 1st house is the house of beginnings, is where we start new things. You have the North Node there. There's going to be karmic situations, fated situations for a long time, the next 16 months, I think, that we have 15 months, something like that. You're going to have the North Node here that is going to shape your own identity and the relationship that you have with other people. And it might start with this. Some of you Pisces are going to leave behind a long-term relationship. Like I said, you're going to start fresh. Saturn is helping you build structure in your life, build healthy boundaries, and have a lot of self-respect, and also kind of make other people respect you as well. Okay, so now let's talk about the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is happening also on March 29th, same day as Mercury is entering your 1st house. But the eclipse is happening at 8 degrees in your 2nd house, and is putting emphasis and focus on your finances, on your personal income. So for a lot of you Pisces, you're going to have more money-making abilities with the eclipse here. Maybe there is an opportunity that is showing out for you to where you can increase your income, increase your resources, make more money. Or it could be the other way around, to maybe an old way of money-making is going to be removed from your life because it's not serving your purpose anymore. It's not serving you. This eclipse is with a North Node. So again, it's fated, but it's supposed to realign you with your true purpose, with your true direction in this life. Eclipses are unpredictable in nature. They either add or remove something from our lives. So your focus is going to be on the 2nd house. The 2nd house is also the house of your own values, of your own self-confidence. There could be some situation that helps you solidify the self-confidence, self-worth with this eclipse here as well. Now, let's look at the ruler of the eclipse, which is Mars. And Mars for you right now, Pisces, is sitting in your 5th house. which is in a positive aspect to you. Mars is helping you, Pisces, take that leap of faith that you need to make the change that you need in your second house. It's making you push forward, maybe with your creative skills, creative abilities, to increase your personal income. Maybe you're gonna open a business. A lot of you, maybe not on the day of the eclipse, but up to 6 months after this eclipse. And it's maybe gonna make you, like I said, increase your income, make more money, increase your own self-confidence. For others of you, Pisces, you might be very prone to opening a new business, as that already comes so natural to you. You're so creative. The Mars over here can also talk about maybe some of you having the chance to become a parent in the next 6 months. So if you want to have children, this is supportive for you. And with Saturn in the first house in such a positive aspect, it could be a good pregnancy. If you're not into that, then Mars over here can talk about maybe a romantic interest or romantic partner that could be showing up in the next 6 months. Maybe you're going to start dating someone that is good for you, that is good for your own self-confidence, and also good for your finances. Who knows? Who knows why and how? Now, like I said, Mars is making a beautiful positive aspect to Saturn in your first house. I absolutely love that. You're gonna have the drive that you need, the support that you need to have this sort of new beginning in your second house. Even though Mars is not as strong in the sign of Cancer, it's still in a good aspect to Saturn. When these two get together, Mars and Saturn, you push forward no matter how difficult it is. So with Mars here, you're gonna have that inspiration that you need to be creative, to put out there into existence whatever downloads that you get, whatever you feel inspired for. I really like it. The 5th house is also the house of risky investments. Maybe some of you Pisces are gonna be able to make money through risky investments around this time. Maybe that, yeah. But still, be careful with your money, okay? You have Venus in conjunction to Neptune. I already explained that. Be careful. The other beautiful aspect that Mars is making is that sextile to Uranus, which for you is sitting in your 3rd house. So you're gonna have that genius thinking, intelligent thinking with Uranus here to make the right decisions regarding your financial sector. Uranus is supporting the ruler of the eclipse, and you're gonna have the that quick thinking that you need to make those decisions. You might think outside the box. You might have contacts and communication that is unusual as well, and very forward thinking, very smart and intelligent, that might give you that sharpness that you need to have that sort of new beginning in your second house matters. Okay, Pisces, this is what I have for you. It's exactly 12 at night. But I wish you the best of luck with this eclipse and this retrograde season. Let me know in the comments how things are going for you. I always read them, but there's also so many Pisces with that want to learn from you and want to hear your perspective and whatever is going on for you as well. If you want to show some support for my work, you can like, subscribe, share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from it. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video.